Live. It says it's live. It says I'm live. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, that's what's going on here. Okay. I'm still screwing around with all the lighting and stuff, and I can't do much with that until I'm actually live. That's what happened. Okay. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't mind the cleavage. Lisa gave me a light to use. Let me see where I am here. I don't want to click buttons. Lisa gave me a light to use. I still have to set up. Yeah, let's see what's going on now. Anyway, how is everybody? How are y'all doing? Sorry about the intense cleavage, but this should be. Oh, that's good lighting. Okay. Oh, and that's a good camera angle too. There, and I put my computer over there. Okay. Let me go like that, just the tiniest bit. What are we doing? I don't know what the hell we're doing. What the hell are we doing today? Okay. Hello. Yeah, my wife doesn't mind the cleavage. It's hot in here. Again, I got a fan going, but it needs more time. What are we doing? Is that going to be better? That's probably there. That's better. Oh, that's better. Look, I can sit down and relax. I can sew. We're sewing a project today. We're sewing a project together today. I went ahead and got things started because when I'm talking and sewing at the same time, I already make little silly mistakes anyway. So this will minimize. Something fell. I have no idea what it was. I was over here tidying things up. I finally got my other machine back out. That's been put away forever and ever and ever. I even have a pair of clean gloves. Well, cleanish. I wash them all the time until they just don't come clean anymore. And then I do the thing. So, how you guys doing? How's everybody? This is only my second live stream, so if I manage to screw things up, let's not worry too much about that. Oh, that's awesome, Miss Moonlight Musing. Yeah, I like making the tarot wraps and stuff. I gotta make some more. Today we are making I'm gonna make for you a padded tarot mat. I've been making them for a while whenever I have extra time, and I had extra time, so I've already got like 3. We're gonna do a Brigid's cross. We're gonna do a Brigid's cross. We're gonna see how that looks. But yeah. Oh yeah, the wraps make a good mat because they're so heavy. And once you use them for a while, they start off with a bit of a crease, and after a while they start to get really, really smooth. So anyway, what's new and exciting for you guys? I'm just kind of tidying up this area. I got the camera figured out. So what I've got going on, I'm looking off to the side because my computer's over here, and I've got a webcam right there. I've got a little webcam so that I've got to get rid of that. That's in the way. My pencil sharpener with all my marking pencils in it. No way, I can do that. Put it back. Oh, I can put it right there. That's fine. So because I don't know if anybody catch. Oh, Calcium has doing plant care. I have a sewing machine I've never used before, so this is really nice. Sewing is actually fairly okay. Sewing is as complicated as you want to make it. This is actually going to be ideally a fairly simple project today. Like I said, I'm off to the side here because I've got my computer over here as well, so I can actually run the stream. So that's over here. Plus, I can see your comments properly instead of a little tiny inset. So far I'm liking this. I don't have a lot of table space. I don't know anybody who's seen it or not. This is my workspace here. So I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of table space today. So what I did was I pre-cut stuff. This is a test one. This is a tester. I'm not trying too hard. I'm not going for, I think it's going to, oh, I think I need to do that. Oh, I'll have to do, okay, this is somewhat directional, so I'll have to be careful. Okay, so yeah, sewing's actually, yeah, it's a good camera. This is Lisa's webcam because she doesn't need to use it all of the time. She's got a better camera. So with that in mind, oh, just the one that's like that. Okay, every now and again, you get a piece of fabric. I don't know if you guys are going to be see that or not. Every now and again, you get a piece of fabric, and even though this is a random pattern on the fabric, we're going to use this for the outside. I'm going to be talking as I go. If you guys have any questions, ask. I'll stop. Whatever. Every now and again, you get a piece of fabric that is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like a blender, nice and random. But every now and again, they look like they almost have a direction in them. So when that happens, you just gotta. The other three are fine, but that one has this definitely has a direction. This fabric definitely has a direction. This is let me see. That's the front. That's the back. So we are making a tarot mat. And I'm gonna go get one. I forgot to bring one. You guys are gonna have to cope for a second. Chat among yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay, this is a tarot mat. This is not a reading cloth because it's padded and it's got a finished. I keep putting it in front of the webcam. It's got a finished edge. It's got a layer of batting in the center. Uh-oh, who's got great intentions? Oh yeah, great. Yeah, I'm happy with the camera. Yeah, I bought a handheld sewing machine and it's still in the box. Honestly, anybody can sew, but I'll tell you right now, I can't sew clothes. I've got no practice at it. If you throw me a pattern and say, Peggy, go make this shirt, I'm gonna look at you and go, I'll turn it into 2 tarot bags for you, but sewing is, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like, it's like, okay, I think of it like reading. You've got your romance novels, your science fiction, your adult fiction, you've got documentary type, not documentary. What do they call it when it's in a book? Oh my God, I need to get out more. So you've got your nonfiction, you've got, so if you're a writer and if you're a science fiction writer and somebody says, well, I want you to write out my life story for me as a as a work of nonfiction, you're going to look at them as a writer and you're going to go, I can't do that. So I sew all the time. I make all kinds of stuff. I don't do clothes, period. So just keep that in mind that sometimes sewing, because I failed home ec because I couldn't sew clothing because they wanted to. Anyway, this is what I'm not making this one because I already made this one. This is the style that we're going to use. So I'm making a tarot mat. These are a little thicker. They're not like a regular. They've got padding in the back and all that stuff, right? Now where am I going to put it? I gotta put it down so I don't wreck it. So yeah, we all have great intentions, but one of the things that I've found, almost everything, you know what, you guys aren't going to care if you just see the top of my head once I get started with the sewing. So we're going to make this together. I'm going to make it. You guys are going to watch and enjoy yourselves and whatever. So the first thing I did was I pre-cut. This is just rough cut. It's not pre-cut. I want this, ideally this is going to be about 14 by 14 when it's done. And if I get everything exactly right on, it's going to be about 15 by 15. Now I'm testing this. This is a Brigid's cross. I've got 2 quilts that I'm going to be doing using Brigid's cross. And what occurred to me is I just need to do one on a smaller scale as a sample, just to make sure that I'm actually, it's one thing to say that I like blah, and it's another thing to see it in the real world and go, well, I'm not so sure. Brigid's cross is a very particular type of cross. And if you want to look it up, absolutely, I'll wait. A Brigid's cross, we're gonna go with the vertigo in a second. Things are going to be overlap. I can put that over there. Okay. So what I've done when I'm talking and sewing and sewing and talking, I tend to make silly little mistakes, which is pretty normal, pretty common. The reason why I wanted the webcam is so I can do that. Just ignore the corner of my computer there. Okay. Brigid's cross is going to look like this when it's done. We're going to have, I'm going to be sewing that onto that. Okay. Then I'm going to sew that onto that there. Wait a second. Did I get it right? Okay. I'm going to sew these together. The time this is done, it's going to look like that. Let's just do this right now. It's going to look like that. And then these are going to be like that. I did not agonize about getting these cut exactly. I'm working with scrap too, so I'm able to have extra and not worry too much. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. So when you look at this, you can see that these two line up perfectly to each other. These two line up perfectly to each other. These two line up perfectly to each other. And these two line up perfectly to each other. So right now, all I've got to do is sew that to that, that to that, that to that, that to that. Easy peasy. That's what I'm doing right now. And then, like I said, when it's done, it's gonna look like a Brigid's. You're never going to be able to get an exact match, right? Yeah, Brigid's cross. I've already called it a Brigid's square like twice, haven't I? This is a Brigid's cross. It is not going to be exact. I picked this because the Brigid's cross is made out of grasses and stuff, so you have a directional. I'm doing one for the one I'm doing for Lisa, which I haven't got back to. Life gets in the way. Life gets in the way, and you just don't get back to things. Is going to be these strips here are going to be made of this that I'm going to cut into like 6, 7, or 8 inches. I haven't decided yet. And this is all going to be random. Hers is going to be 100% random. Now I'm doing another one. I really am. I meant it when I said it. I'm going to be doing another one for a giveaway coming up soon. And that one, I'm going to do like this, using a solid piece because it's less time, less work. The camera. So, no, I've already answered that. The camera looks awesome. What I really wanted on the camera was to be able to turn it. As I'm working so that I can do stuff for you guys on live. And don't forget, if you have any questions, or an observation or something that and you want to make sure you really get my attention, just write it in all caps. That way I'll see it. Especially if you have any questions about what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So what I've got going on here, first thing you're going to notice is like my fabric comes to here. This piece is longer, and I made sure. If you want to make one of your own, so far, these are 7.5. These are 7.5 by 7.5. They're square. This is 1 3/4, and I just cut them to 8 inches. This is just some scrap I found, and this is the only piece of that I've got. Okay, so we're gonna flip the camera again back to the vertigo. This is why I wanted this on a tripod. Okay, so now I've got a. Strangely, I opted for a peach thread, even though this is brown. I opted for a peach thread. So all you're going to do now, let's go back over here for some vertigo for a second. If you're a noob, everybody starts off as a noob, then you're going to turn these two together. Because look, this is just here. You're just going to flip that over, right? If you are not comfortable not pinning, so just make sure that this line matches up with that line. Make sure that they're matched up. They don't have to be perfect because I'm not going all the way to the corner, so we're just going to do that. Now, if you want to, this is where you pin them. This is just a sample. Well, I'm probably going to throw this in the shop when it's done. So let's pin them properly. If I'm just screwing around, I don't always pin, but if I really, really, really want to make sure especially if it's going into the shop. If it's going into the shop, I take that extra minute. If it's not, then I might just like grab things and start sewing them together. Anyway, as many or as few pins as you want. get them lined up. So basically, when you turn these, you're putting them on all on the exact same way. You really are. Look, I flip this around. It's the exact same way. I'm not. This isn't going to matter. These all go on one side. Doesn't matter which side, unless you think unless it's directional and you really want to be worrying about directional. Like if this is something where that's the top, then you want to make sure that it's consistently going in the same direction for all 4 pieces so that they'll line up properly. I'll probably do other projects down the road that are more specific like that. Like I said, this is just a sampler. You should be able to do this with a handheld machine because it's straight stitching. There is no fancy stitching required. As a matter of fact, you don't even technically have to backstitch until the very end. And like I said, if you're confident that you can just grab these two, hold them together, because I'll show you what I've got going on over here. I've got a knee lift. So can you see the foot? See it? Look, Ma, no hands. I've got a knee lift. So as long as I'm taking my time and not going crazy, I can just grab a piece of fabric and go like that. So I am going to put this on the machine in reverse. This is the lined up part here. The lined up part here, I gotta keep finding my camera. That's gonna be the center. And sometimes, every now and again, this particular machine will try to suck in the corner because this machine fucking hates me, right? So if I don't want to worry about that, this end here is coming off. This is coming off the end just a little bit. See? So I'm gonna start at this end because a quarter inch for me on this machine is a little tiny bit is around. I don't even care if I get a perfect quarter inch. So a quarter inch for me is just shy of the edge of that foot. So I can just line it up and I can go, and then I don't got to worry about it. And I've got plenty of space on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Oh, look at that. I can do it from this angle. Ignore the junk. My God, I got junk everywhere. So I've got plenty of space on this side. If you don't have space on this side, and if you want to do it from this side and don't have space, you can always just give it a quick little fold. It'll be fine. That is my machine needing a cleaning. They're not supposed to do that when you thread your machine. If it does that, if you thread your machine and then it does that, it just means that it needs to be slightly adjusted, and it is better not to bother doing that yourself. Okay, so let's get this out here. Look at that. That's not too bad. I've got a pile of junk there, but that's not bad. That's not bad. I was tidying up the things that matter, but I also wanted to clear the table as much as possible. So I took some stuff that was over here and tossed it over there. And I'll put it back when I'm done. So the only thing that matters right now is wherever you started, your foot has its own symmetry, right? So I'm trying to line up. I'm trying to line up with here. This is plastic. If this is see-through plastic, that's metal. I'm trying to line up, sort of, kind of, ever so slightly on this side. Once you start sewing, just make sure it stays there, right? So, and let me just finish this. See, this is where I say this is why I cheated and got a bunch of stuff ready in advance. So this is 7.5 by 7.5 inch square. This is 1 3/4 inch by a minimum of 7.5 inches. And I'm just going to go right off the end. I'm not going to bother backstitching because I already know that I'm going to be putting all these together. So let's get over here and get a good look. Or not. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that's done. And as you can see, even with the best of intentions, every now and again, a slight shift is normal. Oh, I'm going to have to go off camera for just a couple of seconds. I have to turn my iron on. Okay. So if there's a tiny bit of shifting, this is one of the reasons why I make these a little bit bigger. If there's a tiny bit of shifting, I don't have to care. Something else that you can do, if you're not 100% confident, because you don't have to be, right? Then you're going to get out a ruler or something that you're comfortable with, and you're going to go in 1/4 of an inch, right? Because you're ideally you want to you can do a 1/2 inch. You can do it all the way back up to here if that's what you need to do. Measure out the seam that you're going to want to put in, and then just mark it. Get a marking pencil. You don't have to go crazy, and then that way you can just sew along the line. So if getting these correct, if getting these the way that they're supposed to be is challenging for you, then yeah, you can be thinking about just like I said, marking the fabric. You can also cut the fabric a little bit bigger than you need it. Mark it, and then mark it, and then trim it to the sizes that you require. I don't know how to describe that. It's hard to hear me all of a sudden. Oh, because I moved away. I went to go. I'm just gonna do the other 3 up right quick. Chat among yourselves. Whatever, because I want to hear how you guys are doing. Okay, 2. I'm going to be going off to the back in a second because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these a quick ironing. This is just called finger pressing. And the idea with finger pressing is you're just trying to press these open, but this is the catch. Try not to stretch it as you go. It's not the end of the world if you get a bit of a stretch. It'll pop back into place after a few minutes, but you don't necessarily want a huge get those pins out. I suppose I should turn this so you guys can actually watch the sewing. Just sit there and things will show up. I changed my mind and decided to just challenge my machine and go from the correct side. You could even do this as a hand sewn project. You don't need it. You don't need a machine. I mean, obviously it's going to be quicker and more convenient if you have a machine. This is all straight stitching. You can do this without a machine. I just stopped here because I can already tell I'm off the fabric. So then just pop that guy open. As long as you guys are having fun. Miss Moonlight Musings there. I'm trying really hard to keep track of the chat, but I also sometimes get distracted and don't. So Lisa's here to keep you company, though. She's actually at work. She's at her day job. She has a muggle job. Okay. And I'm off the fabric again. Okay. Cut it. Come back over here. This is actually moving along pretty good. And so just to remind you guys, I cut these first. Getting this stuff ready is no big deal. You just cut it to the size that you want. That was just a couple of pieces of couple of little bits. This came straight from my scrap drawer. So sometimes there's a little bit of stuff that you gotta scrap drawers or whatever. They are fun. Anyway. So I cut these to size already. So basically I put about half an hour into prepping because I also prepped some back stuff. I got my batting ready. I haven't decided what I'm doing for my backing yet. So I got that ready. So I put about half an hour into it before doing anything with this. So these are all, okay, so these are all, this is going to be the outside because it overhangs, or if something about the way this turned out, I can just trim that off. I can just grab my rotary cutter, or a pair of scissors. You can do it with scissors. Just be careful. I mean, you can just get in here with scissors, take your time, and take it off. Just take your time. Take your time. Okay, so that goes there. That goes there. That goes there. Wait, that goes there. That goes there. Wait, so that goes there. That goes there. Then that goes there. And then that goes there. We're getting there. So I'm going to zip over though. I want to iron these right quick because I am going to put this in the shop. So I don't want, it's okay if it's a little bit off. Now you guys can't hear me. Right back. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now that you do not have to iron these. You'll get a more of a boho effect, which is absolutely fine. So that goes to there. That goes to there. That goes to there. A little off. Now see, okay, I'm gonna point out what's going on here. I did not go crazy on this. What I could have done is let me just measure it. Okay. Obviously it's gonna have to end here. So I could have just measured these at, I could have measured these pieces at 6 by 7.5. I could have measured these ones at 6 by 7. No, sorry, 6 1/4 because of the. Hey, Jessica, I could have measured these at 6 1/4 because of the steam allowance. Always add in enough for your steam allowance, but I wanted a sampler done first. I'm using scrap, so the little bit of extra. This is fabric that was already at risk of not being saved if I didn't find a use for it to begin with. So I don't mind a little extra waste when it comes to scrap, right? So now. So now I just have to sew this to this carefully, match the corners. The good news is except for the very center, which everything is all the same fabric, you don't have to agonize so much. There's no lines to. This just goes into nowhere. So if it's a little tiny bit off, it's not going to be the end of your day. You do want the corners to be as nice as you can reasonably get them, which is, you know. There we go. I'm going to trust myself to do it without pins this time. Well, no, I'm not, because the instant I turned, it just went completely out of whack. There we go. Okay, maybe I'm going to trust myself. Let's see what happens. Do. Okay, so that one's done. Now you do not have to iron these. You'll get especially okay. Like this is a Brigid's cross. Now, if you guys have taken a look at the link that Lisa showed, the Brigid's cross. It looks a little. It's a grass weaving technique or something like that. There's no way for it to look neat and perfect. This isn't even exact. This should actually be ever so slightly going in, and I just didn't want to do that. Like it should be at an angle a bit. Anyway, so put that back where I found it, fold that guy over as best I can. This time I'm sewing up that side. Just pay attention to which two sides you're sewing. Technically I can sew either side. Because if I sew these two sides together, then I would just flip it. This is identical, so it's not going to matter on this one which two sides I sew together, but on other kinds of projects it will matter. So just pay attention to that. Or rather, try to get yourself used to it. Off the end. Come on, cut. Every now and again, a machine doesn't want to cut. So if you are cutting, you hit the cutter button, which is right there. You hit the cutter button, nothing happens, right? If nothing happens, then just get over here at the end. Where is it? Did I do it right? I did it wrong. And just turn that forward manually. Sorry, not trying to treat anybody like they're dumb, but I also know that there's a lot of people that don't have experience, and it just, it's like, oh, just run it forward manually, and they're like, what do you mean? That's what I mean. Can't hear you at all, whatever you're doing. Oh, you know what? Because I think the microphone's coming off my computer. I don't know if your webcam has a microphone. I don't know. It's okay. I was just showing how to run it forward If your cutter, just every now and again on a lot of machines, not just mine, if you have an automatic thread cutter, every now and again it doesn't want to cut properly. Okay, so now we've got this. Now we're like this, and like I said, these are off. These are off because I didn't do the exact measurements, right? So then again, a 7.5 by 7.5, 1 3/4 by 7.5, or in this case, I did make them 8 because this is what I had, and this is all coming from the scrap bin. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to finger press. Honestly, I think I'm doing fine without worrying about it, and everything's falling into place. If you really need this, if you really want this to be, hey, I probably just have my arm up over the camera or something. Oh, Dustin's here. Dustin's going to sew himself a couch. Wait, what? So anyway, so now we've got this seam here going down to here. We've got this seam here going down to here. You just want to flip them over together and match them up. And take your time, because I just put these off center to each other. So you just fold it nicely forward. And when you're pinning, you want to pin your, oh, these are going in the opposite direction to each other. That's got a crease in there. They'll nestle better. Anyway, when you're pinning, put these two together. I do pin these where I turn them around because these two here, you want the thread line on the center of this one to match with the thread line on the center of that one. And then and you can flip it and flop it around. Do whatever is comfortable for you. If it is not comfortable for you to be flipping it back and forth the way I am, then do it whatever way works for you. Oh, new people are coming in. Hey, Catherine. I don't think I said hello to anybody else. Dustin's here. I don't think I said hello to anybody else. I am horrible at getting in here and then missing people. Anyway, back to flipping over. So once I get this done, I will iron it because I have to trim it next. So now what's it doing? My machine hates me. Okay. Yeah. My machine hates me. And this is just because my machine hates me. And honestly, turn it off. Wait for a count of 3. Oh, yeah. No, we don't have the day off today. We had last Monday off. What do you guys have? What is it for you guys? Ours last week for us was Victoria Day. Okay, so if your machine's just weird, if you have an electronic machine and it's something weird, Memorial Day, yeah. Ours was, I think, Victoria Day. So if it's doing something weird, just turn it off and back on and reset the electronic whatever. It's just, I don't know why it does it. I mean, it probably just needs to be cleaned. That's probably my biggest problem here. That machine over there that I just set back up, I was using it so much for a while there that I had to go get it cleaned about every 8 months. So I professionally clean. I clean it myself all the time. Okay. And take your time. 1/4 inch seam going in down here. Gonna flip you guys around. Okay. So it's not a perfect Brigid's cross, but it definitely creates that impression, which is the look I'm going for. So now I am going to abandon you guys for a second. May is Memorial Day, but little known fact, May is the month for the military in the USA. Interesting. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just going to give it a quick iron. Lots of steam. Okay. That's it. Now, it's got to go on here, right? So that's going to go underneath. And I am going to cheat. Actually, let me just double check here. No, that's about right because of where because this is so short, this has to be the bottom, that has to come off. This has to be the bottom, that has to come off. And I have to do that all the way around. I can still get a little bit bigger. I'm going to see if I have a bigger piece of batting. I always have a bigger piece of batting. Okay, now. Batting is annoying. Batting's annoying. Okay, batting can be very, very messy and very, very all kinds of things. So what I like to do is get it on here more or less right. And there's batting comes in very large pieces, and it's pretty much a given. Only people who have no souls can do math. Then I have no soul because I'm actually kind of good at math. Okay, so this batting is sticky and things like to stick to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to try too hard. I'm just going to come up here, get that piece off, and I'm just going to go all the way across. So I don't like this thing where you do the L shapes and the whatever because that just makes it weird for me. Get that piece of scrap off. Now I can make this a little bit bigger if I change out the batting. So I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to cheat. I'm going to show you guys how to cheat. So now, I have a decision to make at this point because I can do some of my top stitching now and just stitch it to the batting because when let me get back here. Oh my God, let me just learn to walk in a straight line. Okay, this is what I'm going to cheat with. This is called 505 spray, and it is a temporary adhesive. So what I can do at this point now is I can get my rulers out and I can make these nice, perfect straight lines, right? And then work with my backing, or I can get these at least partially sewn down so that because when you put your backing on, if I put the backing on first, I think I'm going to use the light gray. I had a light gray and a dark gray out. Oh no, light gray or dark gray? Okay, you guys vote. Vote, people, vote. Light gray or dark gray as the backing to this to go on. It's going to be on the back. It's going to be on the back, but it's also going to create a thin border on the front. Yeah, I can paint a portrait photorealistic, but I can barely sew. You know what? Like I said, ask me to sew you some clothes, and I'm going to look at you and go, what? Oh, wait, let's just double check on this. If I'm going to make this bigger, this piece might not even be big enough now. Okay, so what's going to happen? This is me just over-explaining shit that I don't need to over-explain. But what's going to happen is I'm going to trim this to the correct size, and then this is going to be up and over like that, it's going to be thinner than that. It's going to be creating a thin border all the way around. So I'm debating on whether or not I should do a dark border. Okay, this is just a regular 10-inch batting. This is a regular 10-inch batting, and I'm gonna square it. I'm gonna square it to make it as big as I can get it, which means that I'm going to be going. You have to square it to whichever is your shortest end, which means I'm going to be going like to there, to there, to there. So it is going to be 14 inches. It's going to finish as 14 by 14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that one in last. This has to be sewn down. The batting has to be sewn down, because if you don't sew the batting down, if you don't do anything to sew the batting down, then when you wash it, the batting is going to slump and be a huge problem for you. This, what I've got right here, is a 10-inch batting, which means that I can have a 10-inch square and be fine, and it won't slump. Some battings are only 4 inches, which means you have to put a stitch every minimum of every 4 inches. And we'll get into that later because I don't tend to work with the 4-inch battings. I just anyway. So this I can get this started now and just sew it straight onto this without having that in the way, so that I'm not having. Yeah, you avoid it bunching up. Now, there's 2 things that you can do though. You know what you can do? Instead of using flannel, you can use an old t-shirt. You can use diaper flannel. You can use the material that diapers are made of. I do need some opinions, light or dark for the backing. Light backing, because whatever color the backing is, it's going to be that little thin border on the front. So yeah, when you go to get actual batting, you just ask what it's rated for. And if they say 3.5 inches, that means there has to be a stitch line at least every 3.5 inches to keep it from bunching. This batting that I have here is rated for 10 inches. So I don't have to put anything in this area. I don't have to do anything here at all. I do like to, though, come back wherever there's a seam. I like to sew those down with a stitch in the ditch. I don't have any more of the wood brown fabric. I had exactly enough. This is all I have left of it. This is all I have left, and I might warm tones. Well, I already picked them, and I could be over there in the stash for hours. This is actually a blender. This one's a blender, so it's modeled. And this one has lines. The light one or no, these are both grays, hon. One's dark and one's light. The light gray? Okay, we've had 2 votes for light gray, and we don't need to work this to death, so we'll do light gray. I'll put that up there. Okay. I'm going to stop explaining and start doing. And like I said, if you have any questions, put them in all. I'll see them easier if they're in all caps. I'll see them easier if they're in all caps. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, happy to do my best to answer. Okay. Because this is also, I'm going to be finishing this using, it's the Quilt As You Go technique that I'm finishing this with. I'm just doing it on the small scale. So I'm going to go do that one and that one, because this one here, on this side here, if I follow it all the way through, it's the left side of this one. And then once you go through the center, it's the right side of this one. So I'm going to do that when I'm going to do that when it's on the other backing. Because if you don't put it down a little bit, then you'll be able to go and pull them sideways and make them a big puff. By the way, I'll tell you as I go. I'll try to remember. So anyway, 505 spray is a great little cheat because you don't have to pin stuff. Normally, now it's expensive. I'm not going to lie. I get sticker shock every time I see this stuff. But my supplier had a really big sale going. So for this stuff, you don't need to go crazy. Don't forget, it's just a temporary adhesive. Okay, you're not going to sew a hem. You're not going to seal a hem with this stuff. It is not an adhesive. It's a temporary adhesive. That sound right? I said that wrong. Oh, Dustin's got to run. Well, you come back and watch the rest of this and then show me yours. I want to see. Anyway, okay. So the nice thing about this is that if you, oh my God, I did that wrong. You could just peel. It's repositionable. So you got to watch that. If you're ever in a supplier, or if you're ever in a fabric store looking for this kind of a product, you want to make sure there's different brands, but you want to be asking for a temporary adhesive because there are adhesives that you can just go blink and then it's never going to move again. And it is expensive. This is regular price on this, right? Regular price on this, I think, was like $22 or $23 Canadian. And if you're doing a big quilt project, you can go through like a whole can of it. But when it's on sale, it's worth getting. So I'm going to turn the camera so you guys can enjoy the sewing action. And like I said, we're going to go here. I'm going to start at the outside and work my way in because when you start, your sloppy stitching always happens at the beginning. And this one does a really good finish at the end where everything's underneath where nobody's going to see it. So when you are sewing straight onto batting, it goes through just like a regular machine, but it can be, I'm not back stitching because I know I'm trimming. I'm going to back stitch at this end though. So when you're sewing directly onto batting, take your time, don't be in a rush, and it is messy. It leaves a lot of dust behind. Okay. Okay, I basically I sewed right until I hit the center, and now I'm just going to back up a couple stitches. No, you weren't supposed to do that. Okay. And I'm getting in close. So you can see that this end here has got the, oh, it's so pale, guys. I hope you can see it. It's got my messy starting stitch right here that I can ignore because that's getting trimmed off. And this stitch here finished here because it finished on the inside. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. Barely visible, but it's there. So it's a lot less messy to go from the outside to the inside. And like I said, I'm going to go through one more time, but that's going to be after. That's going to be when I have my backing. You'll see. I'm going to back up a little bit so that I can keep it. So the batting does have to be sewn down. What this is called stitch in the ditch because I'm trying to follow. You're never going to. The really good people who do this forever and ever. I do not wear a mask for the dust. I'm not doing enough of this regular vacuuming and stuff like that. I think if I were in a situation where I were working in an area where I had like say something happened and I had like 10 helpers in here, I'd probably want masks for the dust or some sort of a system to keep it cleaned up. But no, we're fine. It's not that bad. Usually it just pushes the dust into the machine. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Come on, back up. There. You don't need to go back that many stitches. This one just kind of automatically does it. You can't really stop it. So yeah, once I get done, I'll be able to pop this open and I'll be, yeah, we do a lot of dusting and a lot of vacuuming. You got to learn to love vacuuming. It's not as bad as what I'm making it sound like, but if you are doing if this was like one of 20 patches for a full-size quilt, it's going to be a lot of dust when it's done. Right? And then you're going to want to learn the fine art of getting into your machine and there's professional cleaning and then there's basic cleaning that you should know how to do. Come on. There we go. And if you're not sure where you are, just flip it over. There's that line. There's that line. This is the last one. Yeah. The 505 spray, and I don't know if you guys noticed or not, I didn't use any pins. The 505 spray is a great way to avoid using pins. I've seen videos by people, and I've talked to people who use this exclusively because they hate using pins that much. So you're just going to go down. You're going to take your time. And what I'm aiming for is this is called the ditch. The ditch is the area where the two fabrics meet. I'm just aiming to get right in the ditch. And you will never achieve that with, okay, I can't say never, but I've seen some professional quilters and they still end up slipping out of the ditch once in a while. So like, yeah, look, that one there slipped out of the ditch a little bit. You can kind of see it. Yeah, see, that's normal. That's normal. The idea isn't perfection. The idea is just to get as close as possible. Now we're back over here again. So cutting this is actually easy. There's a process, but it's easy. Come on, get over here. Okay. I've got rulers. Oh my God. See this here? I finally sorted my scrap. I finally sorted my scrap. That pile has been sitting there for God knows how long. So this you line up, figure out where your center is. It is going to be 14 by 14 because I put the 7-inch. Oh wait, that's it there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay. So you do one side first, then the other. So basically, I like doing this with the big ruler because it's fast and easy. You can also use you can use a smaller ruler and just figure out, oh, okay, I can go a minimum of 7. I can go 7 here, 7 here. You can do it. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I like to use the big ruler because it's easy and I'm lazy, and that works beautifully for me. Oh, what's going on here? That one shifted. So I just line it up as best I can using the very center. I line it up against the very center. So these arms are now 1 1/4 inches. Each arm is now, because you lose 1/2 inch, you lose 1/4 inch on each side for your seam allowance. So when you're measuring, measure what size you want it, and then add 1/2 inch on every side that's going to have a seam. There's my cutter. There's my cutter. Okay. So this is a 15-inch ruler. So I've got 7 by 7. One side. Try to avoid pulling the batting. It's very stretchy. So sometimes if you don't quite cut properly, you can pull the cotton and it'll just rip off. If you do that with the batting, it'll stretch first and then it'll be weird. So I am just going to move my stuff. This is a bit of an awkward cut for me just because my computer and stuff is in the way. That's nobody's fault. Get that off. Do. Yeah, this is all I do all day long. Just sit around trying to figure this shit out. Okay, this is still going to be an awkward cut because I've got a cord. Oh, you guys can see it. The cord's right there. So I just got to make sure I don't want to run over the cord. It's not worth it, right? So now I'm going to go. But now it's really easy. It's really easy to go, okay, that one is already cut, and just to line your ruler up. But this is a 15-inch ruler. I still have to go back and find my 7-inch lines. 7 by 7. I still have to go back and find my 7-inch lines, or I'm not going to get a good cut on this. And just take your time. Don't forget, if something's managed to shift a little bit, which sometimes happens, this one shifted a little bit. You're not going to notice. Nobody's going to notice. But you do have to be aware of it when you make your next cut so that you're going to get a good cut. Let's do it this way. I'm going to turn it around one more time because I can do it that way too. Okay. Now that we've got this done properly. And take your time. Take your time. And sometimes what I'll tell you right now, if I am really, really, really trying really hard to make a perfect cut, I will literally, who has questions? The adhesive does not make the needle sticky as long as you're not overusing it. If you use too much adhesive, then yes, it can make your needle sticky. Yeah, it spurs me to make packed up holes. If you're okay, like if I'm using this instead of pins to do a very, very, very large project, I will want and need to change my needle more often. And for a lot of people, like for a project like this, it's a fair price to pay. I'm getting it done a lot quicker. And nothing is shifting. So I am feeling like I get a quality product. And don't forget, you can get, okay, let's do this. Let's take a segue. Let's take a break. These are called organ needles. Okay, these needles you can buy in packs of 100 so that you're spending less than $1 a needle. So if I go through a ton of if I'm doing a project where I think I'm going to go through a ton of needles, I'll put these on the machine. These ones are the ones that scare me a little bit. These are embroidery needles, and I found that they are the best needle overall because the gold on them keeps them from sticking, and just keeps them from getting. They're just a really good needle. So if I'm planning on using one of these needles, I'll probably, I don't know, but needles come in all sizes. Yeah, I got this as a 100 pack. I got these for like $30, and I got, price went up. These are now $8.99 for 5. And, I got like, $25 for 100. So, yeah. So it can make your stuff, it can make your needle sticky over time, but by the time it makes your needle sticky, unless you're overusing it, by the time it makes your needle sticky, you've already been using it long enough that it probably needs to be sticky. Oh, you guys are the light. Okay. So I'm gonna gently flop that off to the side. Gently put this one here. Now this one here is a little bigger than what I need. So I need an inch and a half all the way around. And again, I like to cut bigger and then bring it back in. And I'm just gonna get this guy, I'm just gonna lightly trim that. That's obviously more than an inch. We're actually closer to done than you think we are. Come on. Oh, you guys get over there. Is that it? That's it there. Okay. Oh, I've got to remember to, okay, so now I'm going to go over here, get my 505 spray back again. Don't forget, I sprayed this one to this side of it. Now I'm going to spray. Oh, 50, yeah, okay, sorry. I didn't even stop for questions. I stopped for one, then got back to work. Okay, so Gail asked, do you find there are any fumes when using the 505 spray? There is a slight smell when you first spray it, and then it dissipates almost immediately. Kind of like the old, not hairspray. Hairspray had its shellac smell, and then it had its weird little smell when you first sprayed it. So it's got a weird little smell when you first spray it, but it doesn't stay. It doesn't stay, and it doesn't affect anything. And like I said, you're not using much. Really, you want that's because I was a little careless and got too close. The only thing I'm paranoid about when using these sprays is that if you overspray and get it like on your mat and stuff like that, it can create a sticky spot on your mat that you then have to go in and scrape off. So, over there, I've got a piece of scrap that I quite often put down, spray, and then move it. So what else? Yeah. So basically, I'm just keeping track with Lisa says, so you're counting inches and squares from the center dot seam. Yes, this is the very center. If I were to go 14 by 4, if I were to do 10 by 10 here, this is going to be way off to the side. So you always have to measure. When you're doing these types of designs, you always have to measure from the very center to make sure you're getting, okay, if I wanted to bring this down to 5 inches, I would want to go 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, because if I just go 10 inches, it's going to be off center. So always count, always measure from the center. Have I missed anything else? I'm getting back in speed here. We have questions, Lisa says. My scrap stash is scary as hell because this is the scrap stash. This is the current scrap stash, this here. Plus stuff over there that I still have to point. This is the fabric. There it is. This is the fabric. This is just the prepped. This is just the stuff that I've prepped for standard bags that I have to make. They've already been basted. I just have to get them down and finish them. That is smalls. That's larges. That's minis over there, and there's like 40 I still have to do there. There's Lisa's quilt back there. This is just that's just for the stuff I want to get done in the next few weeks. That's not even my stash. That is the fabric. That is my working fabric. I got so much fabric. It makes me crazy. The subject came up. Oh, it's time to flip over and get to the machine. The subject came up about doing scrap packs for scrapbookers, and that's something that I'm still working on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together, now that I've got my fabric coordinated by color, I think I'm going to put together coordinated packets. I have to charge something to cover at least the cost of the shipping. So I still haven't 100% figured out what that's going to look like yet, but we'll get there. Oh, I think there's a little dust spot. Little dust spot on the camera. Can you see it? It's like right there. Anyway, now, Okay, I did the rough cut, and I did the rough cut on this, right? Now, I'm going to start here. This is now going to be the edge. So I need to start, once you're working with your back end, so this is cut to shape. This is cut to 14 by 14, right? So I want to start right at the very edge. I do want one back stitch. Then I'm going to go forward. This is kind of opposite. So I'm going, okay, so now I'm lining up so that I'm going to go right through the very center. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of that. This comes off center, right? Now I'm doing, I did all the off center ones already, and now I'm going right through the very center. That's something else I've noticed with the 505 as well. If your fabric has a tendency to shift around a lot, while you're sewing. I don't really need to backstitch here, by the way. You'll see why in a bit. If your fabric has a tendency to shift a lot while you're sewing and stuff, 505 keeps that from happening as much. And this is not the only one on the market. This is just my favorite one, and it's the one I can get the easiest around here. But if you're going to use a different 505, I think is the best one, but God, they need to start sponsoring me. anyway, so stitching in the ditch, staying as close to that crease as I can get. And like I said, don't agonize if you can't stay 100% in the crease. I've never seen anybody yet be able to do it. I haven't. Some of my favorite YouTubers have got like 1 million subscribers, and they do full quilts every week and everything, and they still come out of the ditch. Mind you, I mean, if your goal is competing, if you've ever looked it up, look up quilt compete. If your goal is competing, then yeah, you want to go super slow and make sure every stitch is perfect. But unless you're competing, you're not going to get this right. That's not as shitty. You'll get it right. You'll get it good. It's not incredibly well. It's incredibly. Gil just said my sketch is organized incredibly well. It's just incredibly lucky that I happen to have the stuff that I could put it on. I'll have to look out. I think I've looked up Waywack, but I think they're in the States, and it's their shipping that kills me. But yeah, I bought those because I was going through a really bad thing where I was breaking needles all the time. Okay, that's over there. So the next step. Normally I don't have this many rulers out at a time, but okay. So now I'm going to put my ruler. I think you'll see it better from this. I'll show you on this angle, but I always cut away from me. I'm going to put my ruler with 1 inch. I'm going to line up the 1 inch line along the fabric, and then I'm going to cut 1 inch all the way around. And now and now my back end's in place. Now, if you are not using an adhesive spray, put at least one. This is sewn down, so put at least 1 or 2 pins in, so that this doesn't shift. This can really shift a lot while you're fiddling with it. I've used the 505 spray, so I don't have to this time. But if I hadn't used the spray, I would definitely be pinning down these corners because they're not sewn down. There's nothing holding these down, right? Nothing holding these down. So if you're not using an adhesive spray, then make sure that you are pinning them so that nothing shifts. So I am just going to cut, taking my time, 1 inch all the way around. Is that big enough? That is big enough. I can go over there. Well, that ended up on the floor, so I'm going to put that somewhere. Okay. And then just take your time. Normally I stand up for this, or I use a different cutter, because for some reason, some cutters work better, It's always a personal preference of how you do things. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, as like Lisa said, yeah, it's out of control. Oh yeah, I have an amazing. Yeah, Calcium says I paid for those scraps, and I just love the mix of fabrics that I have. The mix of fabrics that I have is insane. I'm going to be doing more of these, but now that I've got my scraps sorted out, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing them using. I just kind of thought maybe I would just put them in the shop as scrappies or something, and put them in for a little less than the regular ones. Because if I take something like this and just go blah and put a bunch of scrap on here and turn it into a cloth, it's going to look awesome, especially if I color coordinate. I'm making it sound so appealing if I just go blah. Anyway, there we go. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. There we go. Now we're getting close. We're getting close. So the first two sides are always easy. Did I pinch that? No? Okay. So, where's my scissors? They're my scissors. Okay, remember I said the first time, on the first section, that having this little piece here coming off at the back is awesome. It's not as awesome when it's on this section because it will be visible. So I'll double check the back here, make sure that these have all been trimmed up properly. Okay, now, what happened here? It's got a little teeny tiny pucker. And it's not a pucker when you give it a tug, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so let's get these ones in here. You can pin. Don't use spray adhesive on this section because there's just no way to get it in there without getting it all over here. So you can't use spray adhesive for this part. So I am just folding it. I'm folding it once to get to the edge, and then once more to get over. So fold it halfway, then halfway again. Yeah, that looks good. It's not too dark, not too bright. And then I'm going to go all the way over and do the opposite side. You can just keep going. Oh, that's one did it too. Oh, they all did it. Okay. Must just been the way the tension on the machine. It's not going to show up when it's done, so it's only a mistake if it affects the final product, and this is not going to affect anything, so. Okay, so I like to start in the middle and then do each end. You can do it any way you want. I find that it ends up more even if I do the middle first. But I mean, if this were bigger, I'd put a clip here, but it's not. It'll be fine. Okay, we're almost done. By the way, we're almost done. Yeah, a color coordinated scrap. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work yet. What'd you do, Bruno? Just a second, I have to go check on this. Oh, was it you? What happened? Did you do something or did you just being good? Oh, okay. You were just right here the whole time. You're a good boy. It's okay. Sorry about that, guys. Shayla is off getting her dental work done today. Oh, purple turning to blue, turning to green. See, I could do that. I've even got, let me see what I've got. Let me see if I've got it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. See, we even got that guy. We got a little scrap of that left. I could do purple. Then I could get a green out. I've even got this. I got a ton of this right now in scrap. It's not as bright as the camera's making it look, but it's purple and blues. Yeah, see, that's what I want to start doing. I want to start doing more of that. Get my scrap used up. But I've got little pieces like this. This is actually really purple. The camera's making it look blue for some reason. Anyway, that's looking blue. These are all really good. These are all really nice purples. But anyway, look at that, purple to green. Imagine that it's actually purple because it's showing blue, but anyway. This is the correct color, though. Isn't that weird? That is the right color, but this is looking blue. So is that. Anyway. But putting together little packs for scrapbookers, maybe something that people, I think I would just do it right in the shop, but I'm not sure how I would do it because I always offset the packaging. I mean the shipping. So I saw somebody though selling scrap packs, little teeny tiny bits of like scrap. It's like I'm looking at it going like, what the hell? They were at $17 for 10 pieces of scrap that were like no bigger than 2 inches by 2 inches. $17 fucking dollars, and people were buying it. That freaked me right out. It's like, wait a second. I can do better than that. Okay, so I'm just, now that I got this done, oh, this is a really bad angle. Let's see if I can get the camera around to something better. Is that better? Is that not better? That's really bright. Thing is, there's a light here. There's a light here, and I can't do anything about it because I need that light so that I can see what I'm doing. Anyway. Sorry about all the vertigo, but anyway, we're just coming. Oh, there you go. That's a little bit better. So I'm just coming down here. So you can make this as wide or as narrow as you want. I try to get as close to the edge as possible. And if for you that means a 1/4 inch, that's fine. But I try and go right down. I try and angle myself in so that I'm going down the side like that. These are a little slightly under 1/2 inch because I cut an inch. This is an inch here. So this is slightly under 1/2 inch. And it's all folded in and stuff. Apparently I just like to make that noise, but that's okay. Yeah, so anyway, I had to go check on Bruno just a minute ago. That's why I got up and left, because Shayla's off getting her dental work done, which is not a bad thing. She needs it, right? She also has a small lump on her neck, totally benign, nothing going on there, but poor thing's going in for 3 things. She's got a small sty in her eye, which since she's getting put under for her dental, now is a good time to get that taken care of. And she's getting this thing taken off of her neck, which is not bothering her, but over time it will start to get irritated. And is this called a lipoma? Is this a lump of fatty tissue? It's nothing, but it's on her neck, which gets in the way of her collar sometimes. But Anyway, Bruno is home alone today, and I'm not paying very much attention to him. And something fell in the back, and it's like, was that just normal life, or is Bruno bored and sad and getting into things? So I had to go check. But he was just laying there. He was being a good boy, but I think a cup fell or something. I think it was a little plastic bathroom cup or something that fell, because that wasn't where it was supposed to be. So, but he was being a good boy. He was taking a nap. I think it was just the gremlins. Okay, so. If you're doing this, by the way, and you're not, you've gotten this far and you're not very confident. Oh my God, it's going to shift. It's going to do things. Iron it. Just run an iron over it right quick. Most batting is rated for. You can iron. You can iron with the batting on. So if you're not sure and you want to make sure that it's really going to stay where you put it, don't be afraid to run it over to your iron and give it a quick zap before you continue. What am I missing? I'm missing stuff. Do I use a different stitch length? For this, I just use 2.4 millimeters. I don't try too hard. Depending on what I'm doing, I will use different stitch lengths for sure. Basting, I use like 3 to 3.5 stitch length. But for this, I just use the default. If I'm working, like say I was doing this with a really fine material, I would probably do closer. And if I was doing it with a heavy material, believe it or not, you would want to be further apart. But yeah, 2.4 mils, whatever the default machine comes to. I think the default on the one over there is 2.6. Tiny bit of stuff got missed. I thought I trimmed it. Anyway. Yeah, we love our puppies. So I just wanted to check on Bruno. I took him out. He's gotten lots of attention. We had some snuggles this morning, and he got a walk. He got a walk with lots of treats just for him. So he's been having a pretty good day. Because when Shayla's home and I'm working, they're just they don't sleep together. They don't cuddle. So they'll each go to their own spot and sleep. So they can be hanging around all day and not interact with each other at all. So he is doing okay. But he knows she's not here, right? So that's not making him happy. I don't need to backstitch here at this part if I don't want to. I know for some people that matters because thread can be surprisingly expensive. Okay, there's that computer again. Okay. Yeah, we love our pups. Oh yeah, they're both okay. Sheila is 11 and change now. So for this one here, I've got two options. I'm going to put my center one in first and get that out of the way. I can just fold it and be done. A nice square fold. Nothing wrong with that. Or I can bevel it. I've beveled the last few. I think I'll bevel this one just because I can. Okay, so beveling, and again, do your bevel, get it ironed down if you're not confident. So beveling, you just put a 90-degree angle in there. You fold it. I don't know if I can get it in closer. So like that, you just fold it like that. I keep picking fabrics that are hard to see. So you fold it like that. You fold it like that, get it in there, and then you just fold it in half to there. And then, yeah, my fingers are in the way. So then once you folded it like that, then you do the exact same fold you did here. You just making sure that corner is not popping out and you're good to go. And then you just give it a little pin, make sure it doesn't come loose, and then trim off any excess. That's this piece of thread. I am so lazy. I always throw it on the floor behind me. I'm not being slick. I'm not trying to be slick or gross. I vacuum so much in here. Anyway, so again, like I said, get that corner folded down, get a 45-degree angle corner going here, make a little triangle, fold it up, take your time. And like I said, if you're not confident or believe that it's going to shift or believe that it's going to do something that you don't want it to do, then just get it settled the way you want it. Where's my tweezers? I had my tweezers. There they are. Then get it the way that you want it, and don't be afraid to take your time. There we go. And if you are concerned that it's not going to look right or that whatever, then don't be afraid to go ahead, put an extra clip in, but don't be afraid to iron it. Don't be afraid to get it on the iron and just give it a quick zap. I'm going to put extra clips in because I'm going to do the other side at the same time. Once these last two are stitched on, it's done. Yeah, that I love my thread cutter, and it does make a really cool sound. I will say right now that the thread cutter is really, really convenient, but I literally had to take one in for service and get the thread cutter fixed, because once you get used to using the thread cutter, if the thread cutter is not working, then if you trigger it, if your thread cutter isn't working properly, but you trigger it anyway, you end up with a knot. My thread cutter stopped working. Just because they do. It was misaligned or whatever. It just needed a basic service to fix it. So my thread cutter stopped working. And I'm like, oh, I'll just get by without it. And I was so used to having it that I kept triggering it. And every time I triggered it, I have to cut a knot out. It's like, oh, man. But I have more than one machine. So I just switched out machines until I got it fixed. But no, thread cutters are incredibly convenient. They are worth having, especially if you do a reasonable amount of sewing. They are super worth having. Okay, that one's done. I really like them. I don't want to shit on them. I had one bad experience in 4 years that I fixed the problem by fixing the machine. So anyway, and it needed a cleaning by that point in time, as it was. Okay, so how are we doing? Have I knocked things? Did I do that right? There we go. I think I was doing it right. I don't know. I think we're going to screw around with the light just a little bit more. Once things are set up, I don't like to screw with them. Okay, so Now I have two options. I can, and you can sew from here to here. Like you could start here, back stitch, come forward, and then stitch, or you can just trust yourself and just go over that corner, just back stitch over that to seal that down, and then sew. I just don't bother with this piece here. I used to, and then I realized that it just really is doing, all it's doing is making my peace of mind easier, but it's not really changing anything. So I start just onto here and then back stitch. If I go back here and then go forward, I could, if you start here and go forward, you could end up shoving that forward if the foot catches it. So I find that if I start just on it, back off of it, it's already sealed down. So when I come forward, there's nothing to catch. And this is where a good pair of makeup tweezers comes in, because they're nice and fine and lets you, because you want to make sure that that's tucked down there properly. So, and if you're not sure, do your first stitch by hand and then come back. I'm just off of it by 1 or 2 stitches. I come all the way off by 1 or 2 stitches just to make sure that I'm catching it properly. Trying to get back into that corner can be, and I also find that once that corner is done, the rest of it really, really wants to hold itself into place. So same stitch as before. Take that one off. This might be weird, but I like that. Oh, hey, Aaron. Gail says, no matter how much I use a lint roller, I'm always wearing threads. Oh, absolutely. Hubby used to tease me, but I was vindicated when he helped me with some prep for Christmas Eve sewing and was covered in threads. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm always covered in thread. I've always got a loose thread dangling somewhere. I found that if you go to we have an IKEA. We have access to an IKEA here. If you have an IKEA near you, IKEA sells preloaded lint rollers, and they sell refills, and the refills are like $5 for 6. I go through so much of that stuff. Anyway, so trim that up. That side's done. Oh, there's a little loose thread there. I will say something else that I do is I prefer to use polyester thread. I know cotton is better for the environment. I prefer to use polyester thread because I've noticed over the years that when if a project is going to have issues, it's usually at the thread line. I don't know how to describe this. Over time, the cotton starts to break down, and then it can start getting weak, and then it can start breaking. And polyester doesn't do that. So I do use polyester thread, and I'm going to show you something in just a second, which is also a benefit to polyester that you don't get from cotton. So just a second. So this is just the last piece going on. This is done. Once this is on, it's done. Okay, that's shifted. So I just got to grab it, hold it. There we go. So I'm just going to hold that with the tweezers while I get it ready to come forward. One stitch off, back up. Cut. There. Okay, trim that. Get back here and pop that loose, trim that. So the one thing that you can do, one second benefit of polyester is if it comes down to it, if you've got a loose thread that isn't cooperating, these are perfect. Oh, these are all perfect. Okay, I'm going to do one anyway. I'm going to pretend that's not perfect. You got a loose thread that's not cooperating. Then you can just come over here, and you don't go crazy. You just go. And if there's a loose thread that's not cooperating, it'll disappear for you. Anyway, this, boys and girls, Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, that's done. So I hope it's giving off that Brigid's cross energy, because that's what it's supposed to be doing. And it's got, I do wonder if I should have made this a little wider. I don't know. I think maybe that should have been a little bit wider. So this is a, let's see, it's exactly 14 inches. Well, it's about, if I want to get picky, it's 1/32 of an inch over. So this is a 14 inch by 14 inch Brigid's cross tarot mat. It's nice and supported. So you can use these outside and they won't blow away, right? That's part of why I did them. And because of the way I did the top stitching here, I've only got one single crisscross here, which also creates a nice little crease. Makes it easy to fold. Alrighty then. So now I know what to do for the next one. Just record that 2 or 3 times in a row. And okay, maybe next time I'll go live and I'll just turn the mic off. I'll just mute myself, sew something. And, no, I can't mute myself. I gotta mute myself. I gotta actually stop talking. Come on. There we go. Maybe I'll actually stop talking for a few minutes. And but yeah, so that's that. This is actually pretty true to color, at least on my monitor. So that's not bad. Yeah, it's kind of funny. There's this weird thing about cameras. Some cameras have trouble picking up blues, and some cameras have trouble picking up reds. And it really depends on the camera. So yeah, this is going to go into the shop. It's going to be, okay, I made this with 100% scrap. I'm not going to put it in for the same price as my normal ones. And yeah, I get it. It took me an hour and a half to make it because I talked all the way through it. So with my talking and with 30 minutes of prep time to pre-cut the fabric, this was because it's 1:30 now, 3:30 now. I started at 2. That's an hour and a half plus. So with the talking and with 30 minutes of prep time, this is a 2-hour project. Yeah, well, that's what the crease ends up doing. That the crease just makes it easy, right? And because of the rating for the batting that I used, I can do it 10 inches apart. Now here's something else. I'm gonna go get something to show you guys. So there we go. Make sure I got the camera set up properly. This is right here. This. Okay, I showed you this, right? I showed you this. So this is, and it pulls apart like that, right? This is batting, okay? Yeah, you can use either side for a reading, and it's washable because it's washable, and you can iron it. So just this is one of those things, though. It hasn't been, the fabric has not been pre-washed, so the first time you wash it, it will get a really cool little puckering effect that is actually intentional when it happens, but it's yeah, they do shrink. All cottons do shrink a little bit. Felt will work, but if you're going to use felt, you need to find out, because okay, this is batting, so this means that if once you wash it and get this wet, it's going to want to slump. Now this is rated for 10 inches, which means that as long as I've got sewing, at least as long as I've got a sewn line to brace this down, at least every 10 inches, it's fine. If you were to do this with regular felt, I'm not sure how that would work, unless you're committed to not ever washing it. Okay. If you're committed to not washing it and just spot cleaning it, you can probably use damn near anything. But this, my friends. Okay, so this is batting, and you just saw me tear a piece, right? This, I'm going to be doing Lisa's blanket out of this. This doesn't go anywhere. You do not have to brace it down with anything. It's diaper flannel. This is the flannel that you use. This is the material that diapers are made of. And you can buy it by the yard, and it makes perfect, and I mean perfect, summer blankets. I've got one over there. I've got one over there that I've got to repair it because I wash it so much because Bruno lays. I'm mildly allergic to dogs. So when Bruno gets all over something, I have to oh, Melissa has to go. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you have to go. Anyway, this stuff here has this stuff here. You don't have to put stitches in it at all. So I could have taken this, put it on this instead of batting, and then just finished it and not done any sewing, and it still would have held just fine. So this is what I'm going to be using for. Yeah, I misread all the time. What, this diaper flannel? Diaper flannel is not too big of a commitment. Don't forget. Okay, I'm doing a full size blanket for Lisa, 60 by 60 inches, and I'm going to be doing. I'm still doing that. Oh, I gotta show you guys. Okay, so I am still doing. I joked around on the last live. I was making a joke, not making a joke, but I was talking about doing a Brigid's cross full size. To see how fast I can get one done. And I think I've got Lisa talked into being my camera person while I do that, and to see how fast I can do a quilt from beginning to end. Anyway, I'm doing both of those quilts on this because this is actually quite a bit. This is quite a bit. I figured out what I'm going to do. Figured out what I'm doing. Grab that. La, la, la. Okay. For the full size one that I said I was going to do. Oh yeah, not washing is too big of a commitment. Yeah. Okay, so Lisa's is going to be like this, big strips of this, right? Which, and again, like that's purple. That is blue. Okay, these are right. Let's see if that's a little bit more true to color. When I showed a similar piece a little while ago. Okay, so Lisa's is going to be 30-inch strips of this into a quilt. You know what? I might even try to get this finished this afternoon. I just got to finish putting these together and they'll be fine. Anyway, so Lisa's is going to be strips of that. So for Lisa's, those strips are going to be going here, right? And then it's going to be a plainer color here, and it may even be this color. I may even use exactly this color. Oh no, for hers I'm using the channel fabric, the unicorn fabric. And then for the other one, for the one I want to do as a speed contest for myself, where I'm the only one competing, is to do this exact same fabric here, right? Just to have it nice and relatively neutral. And then for these, use that. So have strips about that wide going all the way down on a blanket that's backed with that. Let me see if I can do it right on that. So because this is going to be 30 inches long, right? And I think that'll be yeah, I love the way it turned out. Okay, an actual Brigid cross doesn't look exactly like this, but it's definitely the right idea. And I think this will be a nice fabric to use for another one because it's got the Celtic. I don't have, okay, this one's cool because it's got like it definitely looks like it's, it's nice and it's nice and understated. It's not trying too hard. It's got the texture, so you've got your sense of direction. I don't have anything similar right now. So I thought if I did the big one that I'm going to do, if I use this instead, I think that'll look really, really cool. It'll still have the Brigid's cross feeling. I don't think it needs the texture of its direction and stuff. But anyway, I'm making two of these now. Just to remind everybody, I am making it. I just don't know when, because God knows I'm not on the ball about stuff like that half the time. This one that I'm going to do, my speed contest one is going to be a giveaway. And it's going to be a summer blanket, which is width-wise it's not that different. It's not that different. Actually, I guess it is. Anyway, I'm going to line it with the diaper. Okay, they always call it diaper flannel. It's flannelette. Okay, it's light flannel. And that's why it's popular. It is not specifically only meant for diapers. It's used for a lot of things. And it's used as a batting for light blankets, light duty projects. So I've got both, but this one here needs no spell. It's just like cutting off a piece of a t-shirt and throwing it in. You need to do nothing special to tack it down. Oh, okay. Nobody knows which one that is? Let me go get it. That one. This is a little bit more purple than what the camera's picking up, but that's about right. This is like that's like a robin's egg, not robin's egg. It's a pale, but yeah. So this is the fabric. I'll move the camera down in a second. I'll throw a few of these pieces down so you guys can get a really good idea. I'll adjust the camera in just a second. Oh, there we go. So that's what Lisa's is going to look like. Lisa's is going to be, this is going to be a like 6 to 8 inch strip going all the way down. That's going to be the, yeah, like that. That's what it's going to look like. And it's going to be on that. So there's going to be 4 pieces, just like I just did, exactly like I just did, only blanket size. Okay. I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. It's going to be blanket sized, but using the lighter flannel instead of actual batting. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be that on that 4 pieces, just like I already did. So this is going to be all right. This is all random. I've just got to take the time to finish sewing these together, and then it's done, right? But yeah, so that'll be like that. And that's what Lisa's blanket is going to be made of. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. Only this is going to be a solid piece, and it's going on the cream. It's going on the cream stuff, and that cream stuff, it's not solid. I've got a better camera. Webcams pick up what webcams pick up. The camera that I take my product photos with will show the colors properly, but sorry, now that I got it out, I got to put it back properly. Anyway, they're going to be lovely. Well, this one's going to be a giveaway. So I am not making promises as to how quickly I'm going to be able to make that happen, because I do have to have, well, maybe I won't. I don't know. I want to do that one as a speed contest. So, and obviously the boho look is absolutely fine. So anyway, there, no, that's right. If you don't put them away properly, you end up with a big mess. Anyway, so this one here, where did I put it? I've been moving things around like crazy for the last 10 minutes. I can't find it. Where did I put it? Bitch, it fell. It did so. Okay. So this one is probably going to have the exact same backing here. And that is about right for what it looks like. That's about right for what it looks like. That's pretty accurate. It's a little bit more of it's got a little bit more of a slightly goldy hue, like a goldy orange type thing. But it's going to be on that with that. So it'll be about Where the heck did that come from? I'm going to tie somebody up. Okay, anyway. Yeah, but this one's really nice because it's got, I don't have the texture that makes it look like straw. This you can imagine is almost like the straws that they use to make a St. Brigid's cross. Since I don't have any more fabric that looks like that, I figured I would just do the Celtic and then have fun with that. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah, they're both going to be good combos together. They are. I think I'm gonna like both of them. But yeah, Lisa only needs one, and she's getting the schmancy one with all the stuff sewn together. So she's getting that one, and then the speed contest one is going to be up for grabs. And we'll make it fair, give people lots of notice and whatnot, because see how that's going. But yeah. This any sort of a flannel, and regular blanket flannel is good too. A lot of people like to do their tops. You can do a top like this, and then just sew it onto a piece of regular blanket flannel. Maybe I'll dig up a piece of blanket flannel, see if I have any, and show you guys a project on that. But yeah, so that's that. That's done. Hi, I'm over here. You guys are over there. I'm just like, Anyway, yeah. Hope you guys had fun watching that. That was fun to do. I'm a little fast. Well, it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes it takes a long time to figure out what fabrics you want to match. Sometimes that can actually take longer than the actual project. But once I spotted this, it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that's for. But I might do a smaller one. How big are these? I only need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 pieces. Maybe I will do that's a 7-inch piece. I'd lose a 1/4 inch. I can do another one. I think I might do another one of these. I think I can do another one slightly smaller. Now I just have to scale it. Or maybe I'll leave it the same width. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. But yeah, this is not bad at all. I'm going to do another one after the camera's off. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I probably need to get going. It's almost 4 o'clock now, and we have to go get Shayla soon. So, well, I guess not soon, in a little while. But I got thread to clean up and shit to do. Where'd he go? Yeah, he's over there. He's fine. He's having his naps now. Well, thanks for hanging out with me while I get it done, Gail. I love showing you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll relax. I'm fine. You always get a little antsy when your dog's out of the house, especially when she's under. She's 11 and doing anesthesia. She's just getting the stuff. She's getting her 3-in-1. She's getting her dental done, which needs to happen anyway. And so since she's going to be out, she's just got a small lump right here, but it interferes with her collar a bit. So it's like, yeah, probably good idea to get rid of it since she's already out. And she's got a small sty in her eye. The sty is not a big deal and doesn't seem to bother her, but it makes that one eye watery. So it's like, again, one of those, let's get rid of it while we can. Yeah. Oh yeah, I never showed. Oh yeah, I don't think I showed this to Lisa at all. I don't think I showed you the wood grain at all before I did it. But anyway, and you can't have it. The internet gets to have first dibs at this. Tell you what, if nobody buys it in the next 6 months, then you can have it, because then you'll forget about it. But anyway. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm supposed to be saying goodbye. I'm going to get going. I will see you for the next one. I think the next time I'm going live is probably going to be doing tarot readings over on Lisa's channel next Monday. We kind of are wondering if Monday is a good day for doing things, but then again, if I think of a good project, I'll be back. If I can't think of a good project, I'll still be back. So that is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to get going. You guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.